Today, it's all about the just concluded bus tour, discovering new neighborhoods on Mombasa Road and the upmarket routes of Kilimani, Kileleshwa and Lavington areas. We'll also share expert views from the legal and financial team, as well as participants' take of the bus tour. Later on the show, catch street lighting initiatives, the thrilling world of 4G, and the art of color blocking on the accessory spot. Finally, we'll continue with the homeowner's experience on how home ownership has given her financial freedom. Welcome to the Property Show, your guide to everything real estate. Remember, there is something for everyone.
The long-awaited bus tour saw participants gather bright and early at our International Lifehouse offices along Mama Ngina Street for breakfast and a short speech from our host, Nancy Modoni, before she flagged off the buses. The educative, exciting, fun and adventurous bus tour led us to prime properties on Mombasa Road, Kilimani, Kileleshwa and Lavington. The Mombasa Road route gave a perspective of affordable properties, while the upmarket properties in Kilimani, Kileleshwa and Lavington gave a taste of what the high-end has to offer. On the buses were financial and legal experts who gave their insight on the changing real estate landscape regulations. On Mombasa Road route, we visited Malibu Court, Almasi Apartments, Karibu Homes, Green Park, Ammani Village and Ammani Ridge.
Today, it's all about our just concluded adventurous bus tour, discovering ideal projects for a startup, dream homes, as well as sound investment opportunities. Let's kick off with properties on the Mombasa Road route. Our first stop is a unique development located in the prime area of Madaraka Estate. It's a great family home as well as a sound investment. Let's watch.
Malibu Court Apartments is a development consisting of 56 three-bedroom units. It is located in Nairobi's Madaraka Estate. Accommodation includes lounge opening to the balcony, dining, fitted American-type kitchen, kitchen yard, study, 3 bedrooms with a master ensuite, and common cloakroom. Salient features include borehole, 3 high-speed lifts, 3 basement parkings, swimming pool, gym, Cabro-paved parking, guardhouse with intercom and CCTV.
This development is close to social, recreational and shopping facilities, including Nyayo Stadium, T-Mall, Nairobi West Shopping Center, Strathmore University and the Nairobi National Park. Our next stop, edgy yet timeless Almasi Apartments. Let's have a look.
Al-Masi Apartments are exquisite properties located 3 kilometers from Syokimau Railway Station and Gateway Mall, comprising 10 executive 3-bedroom apartments. The apartments overlook the Nairobi National Park and are less than 1 kilometer from the Nairobi-Mombasa Highway. Accommodation includes well-lit and large living and dining area leading out to a balcony, open-plan kitchen with granite countertops and fitted cupboards, dobe and pantry area in balcony area alongside kitchen, 3 spacious bedrooms, 2 ensuite with large windows with built-in wardrobes and drawers and laminate wooden floors, master bedroom with walk-by dressing area. The amenities include high-speed elevator, cabro driveway, 2 parking bays per unit, solar water heating, borehole and underground tanks, backup generator, and 24-hour manned gate.
This project has spacious, unique designs with an option of buying it as a fully furnished apartment or an unfurnished. Next, Karibu Homes, an affordable, beautiful project with superior finishes and the lovely green views. This project is ideal for anyone looking to get onto the property ladder, as well as a sound investment.
The progress we've made at Karibu Homes is that we started with the houses that you can see right behind me, which was phase 1 and phase 2. And those we have now completely finished. We delivered the houses as promised to all the buyers. And the houses are now sold, completely sold, 100% done. They're enjoying the facilities. You can see they're all living here. Currently, based on the market and based on the response we got from having sold phase 1 and 2, we started on phase 3, which is currently ongoing. We've done the foundations. The houses are coming up slowly. That we divided into 4 courts of 526 houses in total. There's not much difference. It's actually the same product. It's only improved. In terms of prices, we kept to the same prices. In terms of the product, it is exactly the same product. In terms of the renders, in terms of the cityscape, which we tried to create in phase 1 and 2, and in terms of the housing units, it's the same kind of stuff. The openness of the grounds, the heights of the buildings. We didn't want to go too high, just like we did in phase 1 and 2. We went ground plus 2, as you can see, ground plus 3. And that's what we've kept, and that's what we promised our buyers in phase 1 and 2, and that's what we are doing in phase 3. The coming open day is, of course, open to all the buyers. We would like to encourage all Kenyans to come and embrace this, to come and see what it is that we are doing in the river. It's amazing. And when you look at the housing developments and what is happening around the river and Kenya as a whole, it will be amazing to come and just watch what it is that we have given our buyers. They are a happy lot, and they can tell you for sure that around here, we are doing well.
Karibu Homes Phase 1 and 2 is fully sold. We are breaking ground next week for the Phase 3. And let me add my views on what's unique. The price remains the same at Kenya shillings 2.9 million with a flexible payment plan. The ride continues to Green Park, an estate we have seen unfolding, becoming a beautiful, stylish and elegant home located in a peaceful, secure and scenic setting.
Located on Stony Athi, directly off Mombasa Road, Green Park Estate is only a 50 minutes drive from the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport and 5 minutes from Mulolongo town, where one can find all the major banks and shopping amenities. Green Park Estate, which is now on its phase 5, consists of picturesque homes, highly secure gates, good roads, great recreational facilities and exclusivity. The perfect community to raise up your kids. The houses come in 4 different design types: quarter villas, bungalows, maisonettes and super bungalows, all stylishly and elegantly built with refined finishes. Accommodation includes spacious living room and dining room, spacious open-plan kitchens with a separate pantry, doby area with provisions for washing machine, entry hallway with a visitor's cloakroom, master bedroom ensuite with a sliding door leading to the balcony, beautiful bathroom cabinets, a bathtub, shower, vanity sink, spacious wardrobes, large windows, ensuite, detached DSQ. Salient features include water filter system. Each house has its own private garden and the backyard of approximately 7 by 12 meters. Cabro paved private parking spaces for 2 cars, lush gardens, Motley Abacus Kindergarten, Diamond Academy, clubhouse, a bar and restaurant, convenience store, facilitates shopping for basic household items.
We have something we call try before you buy. When you're buying a car, usually you'll test drive it, Naivasha, get a feel of how the car is moving. So we decided to come up with the same model. If you notice, we are the last development on this side. So people come here, what schools do you have? Where do I go for shopping? How far is it to Nairobi if I take a matatu? And if I answer you, you'll think this girl is a sales lady, so she's just doing a sales pitch. Mm-hmm. So what we did is we have a house fully furnished. You come for 3 nights, we charge you 20K for those 3 nights. If you buy a house, that 20K goes towards your house. The whole idea is you come, you live within Green Park, interact with the neighbors. We keep saying we don't have a lot to hide, so interact with the neighbors, get to know what kind of environment is it during the day. Will my kids be safe around here? How long is it going to town? What other facilities are around? And it makes you, as you make your decision, and it allows you to come with your whole family. Probably here you've come one person. That day in the try before you buy, you come plus the kids and you can be able to make a decision together as a family.
Think about wide open courts, plush gardens and lawns, paved walkways and recreational areas. That's what you'll find at Green Park. Our next stop, Ammani Village, a 4-bedroom maisonette with a blend of urban, contemporary and luxury living. Let's take a peek.
Ammani Village is situated 19.1 kilometers from the central business district, 8 minutes away from the Syokimau railway station. It is in close proximity to the eastern and southern bypass. It sits on 2,000 square feet of plinth area. It has 82 units of 4-bedroom maisonette in a controlled living area. Accommodation includes 4 bedrooms all-en-suite, 2 parking spaces with a green area, detached servants' quarters, borehole, backup power generator, solar water heating, cabro-paved roads and walkways. Salient features include state-of-the-art security, cable TV ready, internet ready and children play area.
What's outstanding at Ammani village is the convenient location, and it is an internet-ready project setting new standard for the middle class. We wrap up the Mombasa route at Ammani Ridge, a sophisticated family development, a masterpiece in the making. Let's check it out.
Ammani Ridge is an impeccable modern development in a desirable prime location of Syokimau, with a master layout plan to give you that easy and luxurious living. These apartments are setting new standards for the middle classes while offering the best in class amenities with its excellent spacing and beautiful architectural design. Ammani Ridge lies in a 1,365 square feet area with spacious 3-bedroom apartments plus ADSQ. Phase 1 of 40 units to be completed by February 2017. The show house is ready for viewing. Accommodation includes generously sized living area, spacious dining room, open plan kitchen, floor-to-ceiling cupboards, huge windows and a balcony, and all bedrooms are en suite. Salient features include high perimeter wall, electric fencing, 24-hour security, ample parking space, borehole, backup power generator, and cabro-paved walkways.
During the bus tour, we all had questions for our legal and financial experts. Let's hear from the team.
What we saw mostly today was property under 2 regimes of law in Kenya. We've seen apartments which are under the Section Properties Act, and we've seen bungalows and villas which are under the Land Act. The legal perspective in this is the ownership. With apartments, you get to own a part of a building, and with a bungalow or a villa, you just get to own the whole land and the building. The reason why we have those 2 regimes is because the protections the law gives is somehow different. With the apartments, you not only own the apartment, you also own the common areas which the owners of the other apartments also own. But with a bungalow and with a villa, you own all the land yourself. So the law has to provide a way of regulating those common areas which are owned when you have an apartment. When it comes to owning property, what at the end of it all you need to get is good title. What do I mean by good title? Good title is title that has no defects, title that the government can guarantee that this is what you own. The way to start this process usually is that you get a letter of offer from the developer or any seller, and you go through that letter of offer and you go through the documentation it provides, for example, a copy of the title deed, to verify that that owner owns that property and that that property sits on a private land and not on public land. When you're done with the letter of offer and then you sign the agreement for sale, is when now you can start the process of getting all the permissions from the government to be able to transfer the land from the owner at that time to the purchaser. So at the end of the agreement phase is when we have the transfer phase, where we transfer the title to the purchaser. The transfer of the title can be a transfer of a lease. In this case, when you have an apartment, it can be a section of properties title, or it can be a transfer of a freehold property, for example, where you have vacant land which is owned under freehold regime. The red flags that one's supposed to look out for is the time remaining on the title if it's a lease. Usually, if it's less than 20 years, it doesn't make sense to go on buying property where the remainder of years is so little. Another thing to look out for is that the property does not appear on the normal land report, and the property is not tainted with any corrupt transaction or deal. The other red flag you look out for is, does the person actually own the land? We have cases where people are selling letters of allotment instead of selling title deeds. You should make sure that what you're buying is actually a title and not a letter of allotment from the government. My final remarks on legal processes is that please get a competent attorney or an advocate here in Kenya to make the process as smooth as possible. You don't want to be bothered doing all the work for yourself and yet you have hired somebody to do it for you. For the bus tour, it's good that you see more than one property so that you can be able not only to compare the prices but also to compare the quality of the finishing, the quality of the housing, so that you don't get trapped with a project that you just bought from without comparing it with what is in the market. So it's a good thing that Nancy is doing in providing awareness in what is in the market.
The property show has been an insight to most of us. In fact, if it was not for the property show, we will never have gotten to know what we now know. But now, having the property show and going and seeing for yourself, because when we watch the property show, we just watch on television. But when you go on a bus tour and see these properties for yourself, I think it's a wonderful information for us. I can tell someone else who is looking for a house, either for a family home, for an investment, to come on board and actually take the bus tour. It's a good experience.
I've been watching the property show for quite a while. In fact, I'm those people who have actually used to wait for 5:30 to watch the property show so that I can see what is happening. I started with looking for plots, and by the time I started watching the show, I was actually looking for something affordable that I could easily afford without having to look for a financier. And I started off with the small plots that would go for about 300,000 or so, or $500,000. And I realized you can actually get something even with a very small budget. I chose the Mombasa route because of affordable housing. There's a lot of property that has come along Mombasa Road. It's one of the upcoming areas, and definitely also because of proximity to the city center. And then in terms of provision of amenities, in terms of schools, in terms of hospitals, in terms of entertainment areas for those of us with young families, it was just perfect. For anyone out there who's looking for investment in terms of land, in terms of property, in terms of knowing what is upcoming trends, I would definitely advise you to watch the property show. For me, I've been watching religiously for almost 2 years, and I can tell you for a fact, I've learned a lot, and a lot has changed within the market. And anyone who feels like they might have a little money and they want to save, you can never go wrong with property. And you may not have the time to actually, get into your car and drive all over town looking at properties. So this is the forum in which you'll have access to all these at very convenient rates, and only from the comfort of your living room. Just tune in at 5:30 and you'll be able to see what is upcoming, what is around in all the areas, and I'm sure you can't miss to get something for you to watch. As they always say, there's something for everyone, and for me, for sure it has made a difference.
If you're looking to get a piece of the property pie, the bus tour is the place for you. Next, the 4G thrilling experience.
4G is an interesting concept because I think we all remember, for the users of the internet, the experience we've had with speeds. From time immemorial, when we had the opportunity to first use internet and the only technology available was Edge. Edge was very slow, and you could actually get into the internet and get experience where maybe if you're downloading videos or movies or something like that, then it would buffer. It would take a while before you actually get to view the content you want. And in those days, you'd also find probably that the quality of the video would have some distortion because maybe you're not getting a very good signal. And technology has been evolving. We came into 3G, where speeds of the internet became quite fast and things improved tremendously, and the experience got a bit better. I think with increasing technology on handset manufacturing as well, they've kept up with that pace. So as the internet is upgraded, then handsets are also upgrading, and they're able to handle that capability. Now we've moved on to even faster speeds, where now we are talking about 4G speeds. And 4G speeds just means that whatever you are getting on 3G, you can probably multiply it a couple of times. And that simply means that each time you're trying to download something, any content you're trying to open up on your phone, in this day and age when we're using, let's say, chat on WhatsApp to get into to view content, anything that you have trying to view on your handset and you're using internet through 4G, it's almost instant. It pops up. You're trying to do a video, the speeds are downloading very fast, and within a short time you've looked at whatever item you're trying to look at, and you're moving on to the next item. So you have the ability to get information and use the internet to get anything done to the speeds at which you want. It's been a journey in terms of introducing the technology to the users. First and foremost, the network needed to be upgraded, and I think there's been a lot of work from our network teams in terms of getting the technology out there. Second journey on 4G was on making sure that then we have the means to access this technology. And it meant then that the handsets that can handle 4G technology or 4G capabilities had to be brought into the market. And I think Safaricom was a first on this, where we introduced various devices working in partnership with the leading manufacturers of handsets to make sure we are bringing this technology to close reach to the customer. So of course the network had to be upgraded, and then necessary devices had to be in the hands of the customer, so then you can be able to access these internet speeds of 4G. It's been a journey because even in terms of rolling out the network, it's not something that happens overnight. It's something that is done over a long period of time, rolled out, and in the beginning it was only in Nairobi. I think now I'd be proud to say that even as an organization we are happy because even if you go to the regions, you travel all around the country, not only Nairobi. You go to Mombasa, you go to Kisumu, you go to Nakuru, you go to Kisii, and even yesterday I was in Gilgil town and I was able to enjoy 4G speeds of internet. So that has been a great journey. The rollout of the network has worked out very well. The number of devices or handsets that you can find in the market that support 4G has increased tremendously, and it's because Safaricom pushes the same conversation. So many of the phone manufacturers are also now bringing in the same devices, which then our customers are getting access to, and then now the only thing that they need to do is to make sure that then they are coming to our shops, getting the right SIM card that can enable them to access 4G using the 4G enabled internet devices that they're buying. So it's been a long journey of getting that, and it's still ongoing because we still have quite a number of subscribers on our network whom have 4G devices, but they're still not enjoying the 4G speeds because they don't have the right SIM card that will enable the handset, give them these speeds. And we are still talking about it, we are still campaigning about it, we're still sending out communication, we are talking to customers as they walk into our outlets, we are going out there into the market to reach them, just to try and make sure that we are bringing this information back home and everybody's getting on board to enjoy high-speed internet.
Going to get hurt.
I'm doing my best, bro.
You need to remember that Chapo day with Mom, remember?
Let me send you a video. But I can't wait.
You have it. Watch it.
Come together as a team and fight for this club. Make sure that
What?
Don't wait. Do things faster. Do things Safaricom 4G.
Color blocking is a fun way to refresh your home. Next, tips on how to add warmth into your space.
Color blocking is a dramatic use of contrasting colors that is embraced into the home because of the vibrant energy and flair that it brings into your living space. First, using bold colors that sit opposite each other on the color wheel creates the beautiful contrasts possible. Secondly, find a combination that attracts attention but remains easy on the eye. A useful rule of the thumb is to use one bright color, one bold, and a large portion of neutral colors so that the theme in the room is balanced. Finally, for a fine touch, scatter accessory items such as cushions throughout the room to tie the room together. Preferably, use one of the color blocking colors.
We are taking a break. When we come back, the property show continues. Don't touch that dial. Welcome back. The property show continues. Next, Kenya Power, lighting up pathways in the urban and rural areas. Let's hear the benefits of this initiative.
The government looked at the biggest handicap was the cost of the consumption of electricity. And during the initial stages, there was a lot of consultations, and the government found it fit to lower the tariff which is applicable for consumption of the public lighting. And it came for 11 shillings and 65 cents per kilowatt hour to 4 shillings and 35 cents, which is a whopping almost 70% drop. So the public lighting consumption bills were dropped significantly. That is to ensure that the county governments are able to afford this lighting. The other thing that was done in this project is look at technology. The lighting that was offered before that was mostly 400 watts big bulbs, which were consuming a lot of electricity. But in this project, we have graduated to light emitting diodes, or the white light, what you call LED. These are bulbs which are mostly about 120 watts compared to the 400. So they consume about a third of what was being consumed before by the yellow lights, the lights that we had before, which are high pressure sodium, which are yellow, to these white lights, which are light emitting diodes, or LED. They are small diodes, which are more or less. So both lowering of the tariff and having lights which are highly efficient has lowered actually the bills per month for the counties. So far, as I mentioned, we have put in about 59,000 lights across the country. Today, 59,000. We anticipate by the time we finish the major towns, we'll have put about 120,000 lights. And I mentioned so far we have spent 7.6 billion, and we're going ahead to the second tier towns. I would say the benefits, when working with the police and other agencies, The reports we've gotten is that the crime rates have drastically dropped in the areas that we have put in lights. The accidents that were happening in those streets that we have well lit now are slightly less, because the people can see. In fact, in areas like Nairobi, you don't have to put lights on in the lit streets. So that has gone down. Similarly, the pedestrians who are being knocked in the night, in areas that we have lit, there are lesser cases of pedestrians that are knocked. When we look at the markets in the areas where they street lighting, you would find even the spread of wares under the light. It's like there's ownership of where the lighting has been put for economy to go on. So we're finding quite a lot of that going on. So that is the budgetary area. We've gotten a lot of cooperation mostly with the county governments who have taken ownership. And now the county governments are also coming in with their own money from the county government budget to supplement and complement what the national government has done. The members of parliament also, like Ray, have shifted in some of them a bit of the CDF money to put in Murikamuizis and other lighting facilities in their areas to complement this realizing of the benefits. For the housing estates, of course, every development of housing estates, you find normally it will come up with lighting within the estate. And what we're trying to do also is, in the project, is look at the Babrik road that leads to these big developments and putting the lights to those developments. We've had a few cases whereby estates that have developed the lights have approached the county government to take over the lighting, and the accounts have changed over to the county governments, and we've continued also maintaining and also rehabilitating. There were some cases whereby we have got streets which had very old, high pressure sodium, and some of the old mercury lights which were consuming a lot of power. And part of our project is also to rehabilitate those lights, to put in more economical new lights. These lights that we have put don't have bulbs that we have to change every now and then that they burn. So these have a lifetime of about 10 years when there's good electricity. So the operations and maintenance costs also will be a bit lower than what have been in normal. We don't have to go changing bulbs when they are burned. So that has been brought in a lot of other benefits of the maintenance cost in those lighting, and also the developers of the estates, that there is value to those people who are going to those high-level estates. So there are very many complementary efforts, and the benefits realized so far are quite great. There are also cases whereby we found Babrik institutions which would enhance lighting. We've gone to universities, starting with the University of Nairobi pre-grant just here, Garissa University, because we find most of the towns, the people who move mostly between the institution, university students really are part of the economies in town. So we've done lights like from Dedan Kimathi University to Nyeri town. We've done from Garissa University within the university to Garissa town. We've done areas like Maseno University, the University of Nairobi playgrounds, and the rest are all it. So we find that these ones have enabled, and most of the incidences were also for students who are moving in, and it has been quite beneficial. So they have been able to both in the institutions and also move between universities and the closest town where mostly they get their services from.
Indeed, Kenya Power is realizing the 24-hour economy. Keep watching to see where they are off to next. Next, we pick up a conversation we started last week with Rosemary on her amazing home ownership journey and get inspired by what she'll do differently today and her advice to aspiring homeowners. This project, I know by the time you were buying, it wasn't what we are seeing, of course. One. And it was only one house that was a sample house. Did you do a background check, and what did you find? Because I think that's where a lot of people fail. Did you do a background check?
Oh, I did. Again, I'm inclined towards analysis.
And what gives you the comfort to sign the dotted line?
A very good friend of mine, an engineer, became my search buddy. So we went down the road. There was a project at that time which was cheaper. We had a look at it, and we thought this is affordable and it's off plan. It's a good idea. However, we drove further up and we found this, and it ticked the boxes I was telling you about, my bias from my childhood.
Yes.
But then, you know, again, far off, and it's off plan. However, the budget was extraordinarily reasonable for the space. And you know, Green Park has that great advantage. And then I looked at their plan. I like looking at the strategy. I did all manner of research thanks to Google. And I spoke to somebody else who had taken the plunge. And it was somebody I respected. So I said, if so-and-so can take the plunge, they have done due diligence, I have done my due diligence, what more am I looking for? Off plan is a risk whichever way.
Yes.
But this particular project looks quite solid and firm. But the one thing that told me this is a place when I drove in was just my gut feeling.
Your gut.
Tick the boxes, and I liked it.
Wow. You know, when it comes to real estate, a lot of times 80% is actually gut, 20% is other parameters, but gut really drives.
80%? I
Yes.
actually hadn't appreciated
Yes,
just how
yes,
much.
Yes, 80% it's gut. Yes, all the other feasibility studies showing you it's gonna grow, the growth is looking like this is the area to be in, but believe me, it's a lot of time guts.
And you know what I find comfort in the gut element? You're ready to take the consequences.
Yes.
You take responsibility.
Yes, yes.
So you commit yourself to it. You can't afford to fail. You commit yourself to it. I remember because I was in phase 1, I tell you, the folly of youth is amazing. And they didn't have a window in the other bedroom, what was to be the guest bedroom then. Because I had said the house I want, even if it will be for rental for some time, needs to be at the standard I can live in. Guess what? I asked Superior Homes through Angelica. She was very patient with me, and they made a window for me in the 4th bedroom.
Wow.
They did, because of light, because I love light. And at that time, they didn't have 2 windows in that bedroom. Oh, they did. I paid a bit extra, but they did get me the window.
Wow.
I also put up a solar panel because the place, I mean, you know, I'm very passionate about development and sustainable development, and also good use of natural resources. So I got, you know, a solar panel to heat water, to reduce power bills, because I said, if I'm going to go all out and put in a lot of my resources into this capital project, I had better do it well.
Wow. After buying the house, how was the experience?
The sense of satisfaction was amazing. For starters, I was so proud of myself. Even better was off-plan gives you a bit of time to settle your finances until the time you're required
to pay the final payment.
Due diligence with the bank, done quite a bit of research. That process was actually quite smooth. I must say Superior Homes did an amazing job of hand-holding at that time. It wasn't stressful.
You know, a lot of times people feel that, oh, why should I buy now? Why should I buy in Athi River? Has this property appreciated in terms of price?
Unbelievably. You wouldn't even begin to imagine. Sometimes I am shy to tell people how much I purchased it. Actually, the risk, high risk, high return, they say, the risk of buying off-plan away from the city has more than paid itself back. About 300% appreciation. Wow. And you know what is the most amazing thing is that one of the key determinants being infrastructure and also business around this area, the city tends to creep out over time. So in the middle of the city, perhaps there are those who purchased then before our time, and they did so at a good price. And you know, those of us who come later might find it beyond our budget. So we invest in the city of the future, and you know, have great faith and hope that the infrastructure will improve, like it has done.
Rosemary, thank you so much, of course, for having us and for opening your home and your heart. But just talk to somebody at home and tell us, What advice would you give somebody who is thinking, wondering, how do I start? Is this the right time? Maybe my money is not enough. What would you tell them?
It is never too early to start. Start to look. Yes. And back to the advice I mentioned at the beginning, that if you have any money in the bank you have not committed somewhere, either to savings or to a mortgage, it evaporates. You won't see where it goes. And you adjust. When you find you have a commitment that takes away your money already, you will adjust your living standards and you will still be as comfortable. When you're investing, you've chosen to save or to invest, and it's good to save because that sets you up for the investment much easier, the 10% or so of processing fees. But also choose something that has capital gains within your budget, because it's all well and good to buy something because other people are buying it, but they will not have your financial situation. You're the one who knows best what
you
your
know
budget
yourself,
looks
you
like.
know what you can afford.
Exactly. And you also know your potential in the market, or whichever other areas that are your passion areas. Because some people leave employment and go into ministry work or go into social development, and that may affect their income. So you know yourself, your budget. And then again, do your due diligence. I must say, one of my greatest advantages was I was able to take the risk to buy off plan. But that meant doing a lot of due diligence on the developer. A lot. Take your time. Let the decision simmer and soak. Look at it from every single angle. And do not be afraid to ask questions. Look for a professional. Look for a Nancy. Look for somebody who knows the market well and who also appreciates where you are at budget-wise, because that's their goal, to match, budget and property and willingness and, all those things that come into play when you're purchasing a home or making an investment. So there's a lot of self-satisfaction that is good. At the end of the day, when you invest in an area of yourself and of your resources, you'll be amazed at the returns.
Connect with us, share your journey, and inspire the next homeowner. We've come to the end of today's show. Last week, we highlighted an investment group converting a daily income of 100 Kenya shillings to a decent home. Thank you for your feedback. In the coming weeks, we'll be sharing tips on this topic. Connect with us on our social media platforms and let's keep this conversation going. Tune in next Sunday and discover where the next prime investment opportunity is tucked away. Thank you for watching The Property Show, your on-screen property advisor. Remember, there is something for everyone. Kwaheri.